I would like to give the floor to Audrone Biga.
Hello to everyone. Welcome to Microsoft Dynamics 6.4 Finance Remote Training Day 4. And in the next 2 hours, I will introduce you with fixed asset functionality. This is my introduction. I'm Audrone Biga from Curate UK Ltd. Experience with product 6 years, specialization financial management, retail logistics, projects, human resource management. Here's my email. This is my map. You see the cycle, and the cycle is a town, and now I am in this town. Things you need to know. You need to do your exercise, you need to study by yourself. I wait your questions before Friday, 12 p.m. Notice the time is GMT. Here's my email. And agenda day 4. Today we will cover chapter 1, Introduction to Fixed Assets, chapter 2, Setup Procedures, chapter 3, Setup Assets, chapter 4, Assets Transactions, chapter 5, Inquiries and Reports. Chapter 1, Introduction to Fixed Assets. We have those objectives, provide an overview of fixed assets, review required functionality for fixed assets, review the integration of fixed assets with general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, project accounting, and inventory management. In a company's balance sheet, assets are divided into 2 groups, fixed assets and current assets. So here's the current assets and fixed assets. Current assets are those that a company uses in the typical course of business over the next year. Example of current assets include the following: cash, accounts receivable, prepaid expenses, and inventory. Fixed assets are assets which a company owns and uses in the day-to-day operations of the company. The useful life of these assets spans multiple years. Examples of fixed assets include the following: automobiles, computers, machinery, buildings, cars, copyright, or trademarks. I go back to my tangible and intangible assets. So you can see that fixed assets we can divide to tangible and intangible. Tangible: car, house, airplane; intangible: trademarks, goodwill. And how to specify the fixed assets? We can select options: tangible, intangible, other type in the fixed assets form. And this option is used as a range in the report. This option doesn't have any active functionality. We can use this option only for range report. Required functionality for fixed assets. Microsoft Dynamics 6.4 provides many features required in a fixed assets module. This includes the following: a fixed assets form is an interface to the fixed asset table, ability to record relevant transactions for an asset over its life, integration between the fixed asset module and general ledger. Fixed asset form. For management of fixed assets, a company needs a fixed asset form where all information, both financial and non-financial, about the asset is kept. Some examples of financial information about an asset are acquisition price, value adjustments, depreciation, budget, tax information. Example of a non-financial information about the asset are technical information, location, barcodes, emphasis numbers, insurance information, maintenance data, relations between other assets, pictures, files, and documents related to the asset. Let me show next slide. Transaction in the lifetime. Financial information about the asset is important for accounting. This information is entered when asset transactions are first created and then periodically updated for the asset. The most common asset transactions are acquisition, depreciation, value adjustments such as write-down, and disposal by sales from scrap. Let me show integration. Integration points exist within Microsoft Dynamics 365 for each of the models shown in the picture. General ledger, purchase orders, inventory management, accounts payable, receivable, and project accounting. So talk about general ledger. The integration to the general ledger is the minimum integration point required and is the most important for fixed assets. In general ledger, the value of all fixed assets is usually summarized on a few ledger accounts necessary for financial reporting. Accounts in the balance sheet show the value of the fixed assets. The profit and loss statement includes accounts for depreciation and adjustments of individual asset values, write-ups or write-downs during the particular fiscal year. These few accounts summarize the value of perhaps hundreds of assets and several hundreds or thousands of asset transactions. The integration of the fixed asset module to the general ledger is comparable to the integration of accounts receivable to the general ledger. And the main point, the integration of the fixed asset module to the general ledger is identified by fixed asset posting profiles. This is created in the setup menu and the general ledger in the fixed asset module. So I would like to say in general the establishment of integration points. So if we talk about general ledger, the main point is achieved through setup of fixed asset posting profiles. If we talk about purchase orders, assign from the line using the fixed asset number, value model, and asset transaction type fields in the purchase orders form in the accounts payable module. Now talk about inventory management module. Assign during data entry the inventory to fixed asset channel when they want to record item movement to fixed asset price. We use inventory management module. Accounts payable module. Assigned when entering the invoice in an invoice journal. So we can record various transaction types, various fixed asset transactions in invoice journal in accounts payable module. Accounts receivable module. Assign some fixed invoices by use of a fixed asset number and value module. So you can we can record fixed asset sale transaction in the form pre-tax invoice in the accounts receivable module. Project accounting. We have possibilities to record fixed assets using as the project expenses via expenses journal and project accounting module. Chapter 2. Now move to the chapter 2, setup procedures. We have those objectives. Review system setup for fixed assets. Review the basic setup requirements for the fixed asset module. Country-specific features. Mass update depreciation conventions for a depreciation book. System setup form fixed assets. The setup is completed in the General Ledger, Inventory Management, and Basic modules. The following system setups are reviewed: General names in General Ledger, General name in Inventory Management, Depreciation Book General names, Parameters, Ledger Count, Number Sequence for barcodes, and Transaction text. So now let me show my Dynamics AX4, and let me show those system setups. Open General Ledger module. So talk about general names in General Ledger. In order to record fixed asset transactions, in Microsoft Dynamics AX4, the user must create at least one general name of a type post-fixed asset in the setup of the General Ledger module. So open General Ledger module, under folder Setup, open folder Journal, and open the form Journal Name. We have exercise 2.1. Let me show this exercise. According to exercise 2.1, I need to create two journal names, three journal names. So I created FAA, unique code in the field name, field unique code, description, and journal type post fixed asset. So at least one journal is necessary to create if we want to use fixed asset functionality. Post fixed asset. If I want to use fixed asset budget functionality, I need to create at least one journal with fixed asset budget journal type. So now I have post fixed asset. I assigned voucher service number sequence for this channel. Previously, I created next two channel names, FAD and FAD tax, depreciation and for tax depreciation. If you're going to use the functionality item moving to fixed asset acquisition, for example, if you want to record fixed asset building from several items, it's necessary to create at least one journal name in the inventory management. Let me show inventory management module under folder setup. Open folder journal and journal name inventory. So I need at least one journal with journal type fixed asset. And this journal I will use for item movement to fixed asset acquisition or position adjustment. Right. So I fill unique code, description, journal type, fixed asset, and number sequence. If I'm going to use depreciation book functionality, I need at least one journal name in the depreciation book form. Open General Ledger module, under folder Setup, open the folder Journal, and open the form Depreciation Book Journal Name. So I create, in this form, I create at least one general name for depreciation book functionality. Next setup for system setup for fixed asset functionality using is parameters. In the general ledger module, under folder setup, open the form parameters. And on the tab fixed assets, you see parameters which are related with fixed asset functionality. So, you see, later we will cover about those options in more details. And now let me notice that if we use inventory journal in the fixed asset, in this field, inventory journal, it is necessary to define inventory journal for item moving into fixed asset acquisition price. Next system setup is ledger account. In the general ledger, open chart of account. And in this chart of account, for full integration requires to set up of account specifically for fixed assets and assigning these accounts in the posting profiles for fixed asset transaction types. So we have exercise 2.2 in which it is required to set up some ledger accounts for fixed asset transaction postings. I already have those ledger accounts. Let me show. So this ledger account, type header, and I created for acquisition, for accumulation, and disposal. As additional, I created for depreciation. Let me show. Depreciation expenses, account type, profit and loss. So if you remember, if we have account type header, this account is using only for printing purpose. And for transaction, we need to assign account type balance or asset or liability or profit and loss or revenue or expenses. Next option for system setup is number sequence. The following three options are available for assigning numbers to fixed assets. Manually assigning numbers, appropriate for companies with a few fixed assets. Does not require any setup in this case. Next, generate numbers automatically from a single number sequence, requires the creation of at least one number sequence, requires the selection of a default number sequence in general ledger parameters, and number fixed assets automatically based on fixed asset groups is appropriate when a company has a large and complex number of fixed assets. May create multiple number sequences for fixed assets, assign a number sequence to each defined fixed asset group, may also assign a default number sequence in general ledger parameters. So if you're going to use number attaching automatically functionality to fixed asset number or barcode number, it's necessary to create number sequence for those purposes. So let me show. We have exercise 2.3. Let me show number sequence. Open model basic. and the folder setup and the folder number sequences. Open the form number sequence. In this form, I create number sequences for my number attaching to the dataset table. So I already created number sequence car. Here it is. For format. And on the tab General, I selected Continue. In case I'm going to use all my numbers and I don't want to miss some of the numbers. I go back to my presentation file. Basic setup requirements for a fixed asset module. Most of the basic setup steps covered in this chapter are accessed by using the general ledger setup fixed asset menu tab. Sequence of setup steps used in this section, while not mandatory to follow. So now let me show the sequence which I have in my picture. Now talk about let me talk about depreciation profile. So now we will cover those steps: depreciation profile, fixed asset calendar, depreciation books, value model, fixed asset groups, posting profile, parameters, and additional steps, location, and sorting. So here's the depreciation profile. Depreciation profiles are used to define rules for calculating depreciation. The creation of profiles is required for depreciable assets. This usually refers to tangible assets, but intangible assets may use depreciation profile also. Financial assets such as shares of stocks or bonds are considered non-depreciable. Dynamics AX form has those calculation methods. Straight line service life. So straight line service life on is line life remaining, reducing balance, and as additional for method 200 reducing balance, 175, 150, and 125 manual factor, consumption. So you can find additional explanation about each depreciation calculation method and what they are used for in your manuals in page 58. Most companies use either straight line, reducing balance, or manual methods for depreciation calculation. So regardless of a method, what is used, the rationale for all is to allocate, accrue the depreciable value of assets into accounting period. So here's how to set up depreciation profile. First of all, it is necessary to create the depreciation profile, assign calculation method, and assign to value model, and to fixed asset group assign a value model, and fixed asset will inherit based on asset group value model this depreciation calculation method. So let me show the exercise 2 form. I open my Dynamics AX font. In this exercise, I'm going to set up depreciation profile. I open my General Ledger module and the folder Setup and the folder Fixed Assets. Open the form depreciation profile. So I created depreciation profile. Here you see my unique code, description, and in the field method I assign calculation method. So now I assign reducing balance. You see all of calculation methods which are located in the Dynamics AX form. And I assign percentage. On the tab General, I set up depreciation year, calendar, and period frequency, yearly. So I have those period frequencies, yearly, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, or daily. Now I need yearly. If I'm going to depreciate full, I use option full depreciation. So keep look on method manual. If I select this method, the button manual schedule became active. I can click this button and I can define different percent for depreciation period. So I can depreciate in one period more percent, in another less, in next period again more percent. So how I mean? I go back to my presentation file. Now talk about fixed asset calendar. So in the system you can create calendars as much as you need, and you can assign those calendars to value model or to depreciation book. So it's to create fixed asset calendar is not mandatory option. It's only useful for dividing your depreciation amount in different periods. Depreciation book. Depreciation books are used to track depreciation for tax or other non-financial purposes without affecting the general ledger. Multiple depreciation books may be set up and used to track federal tax, state tax, and alternative minimum tax. So in general, depreciation books help us to compare different depreciation amounts, calculating suggestions. I mean, for example, if I have fixed assets and I have possibility to depreciate with fixed assets with different calculation methods, I can set up those different calculation methods for one depreciation book for particular fixed asset, and I can run depreciation proposal in my depreciation book. System for me will calculate and will divide depreciation amounts based on different depreciation profiles, on different depreciation rules. And the system will not update any transaction in general ledger. This is only for reviewing purpose, for reporting purpose. After that, you can compare the most important depreciation situation, depreciation amount, and you can select the most similar to you. After that, you can define yearly depreciation, yearly depreciation settings for your fixed assets group and assign to fixed assets. So depreciation book is for several depreciation calculation methods comparing. Depreciation book is used for comparing purposes. It's allowable to use depreciation conventions in depreciation books and depreciation bonus. I will cover bonus a little bit later. I'll talk about depreciation conventions. And depreciation conventions determine the amount of depreciation taken in the first and last years of the fixed asset using the depreciation book. Microsoft Dynamics CX Font has predefined depreciation conventions as follows: half year, full month, mid-quarter, mid-month, the first of month, mid-month, the 15th of month, half year, start of year, half year, next year. So you can define different depreciation conventions for different depreciation books and review the results for comparing purposes. Value models. Value models are necessary for fixed assets. Value models have the following characteristics. They connect all financial information about fixed assets. They accomplish complete setup of depreciation for an asset. Each value model assigns an additional life cycle to the asset. Each asset can have an unlimited number of value models attached. So, for different value models, we can define post-inquiry, current, operational tax, different fixed asset calendar. We define depreciation profile. We can define derived value models for mirror purposes, for transaction, for reporting purposes. We can define derived depreciation books. And we can define those different value models to one fixed asset group, and fixed asset, a new fixed asset will inherit based on fixed asset group those value models with all settings. And value model is a core for financial information settings and management. Let me talk about posting profiles. The posting profile in the fixed asset module is used to define the integration of fixed assets to the general ledger. So, posting profile is very important in the fixed asset model. Correct setup of posting profiles is important to correct ledger transaction and to financial reporting. So, how system will update your fixed asset transaction? It depends on posting profile settings. At least one posting profile must be set up for fixed asset transaction posting. So in posting profiles, I set up a ledger account, and I set up one setup per value model. So different value models can have different ledger accounts, no cutoff function, and there is a disposal button for sales and scrap transactions. Setup asset group there are many reasons for setting up fixed asset groups. This includes the following: to simplify the setup of assets, to help inquiries, reporting, and setting up posting profiles, to create a template with default information that is copied to a new asset whenever the company acquires a similar asset. So in general, the fixed asset group gave us financial setup together. When you create a new asset, you start with a group. All standard financial setup from the value model will be attached to this fixed asset. So you see that in the picture you see that in the bottom of the picture there is a depreciation profile, and this depreciation profile is attaching to the value model. Value model and ledger accounts are related in the posting profile, and depreciation books and value models are attaching to fixed assets group, and fixed assets and new fixed assets inherit all depreciation profiles, all depreciation calculating methods, all ledger accounts posting, all depreciation book settings from the fixed assets group. So fixed assets group gave us financial setup together. Parameters. Last mandatory step in the setup of a fixed asset model is the setup of parameters. Parameters are the last step in setup because the prior steps, journal names, number sequence, depreciation profiles, value models, fixed asset groups, and posting profiles are used in the setup of the parameters. So here you see options: minimum depreciation, low multiple acquisition, posting profiles, and others. So posting profile and default value model are mandatory fields in all fixed asset model using cases. A low multiple acquisition. If you're going to use post acquisition adjustment to fixed assets, the field for low multiple acquisition became as mandatory. If you're going to use number attaching automatically number attaching functionality, the field auto number fixed assets became as mandatory field as well. And all rest fields as default values for fixed asset module. Safety locations and sorting. Additional parameters, they are not mandatory. Locations are used on the set to indicate the main location of the set. Sorting options are used to specify ranges for sorting purposes in reports and inquiries. In general, location and sorting are used as ranges or sorting options in the reports and inquiries. Now let me show my Dynamics AX. And let me show that it's a group value model. Give me a second, I will find the exercise. We have exercise 2.4. Now I'm going to set up depreciation profile. In the general ledger module, open the folder setup, then open the folder fixed assets and depreciation profile. Oh, I'm sorry, we covered this exercise. Let me show next exercise 2.5, setup value model. In the same general ledger module, under tab fixed assets, open the form value module. Here we are. So I created value models card and card tag. So I assign it unique code, description, and posting client current for card current. So now all my transactions will be updated in the posting layer current. I can assign a calendar, but now it is not necessary. On the tab General, I select option Depreciation. In case I'm going to depreciate all my fixed assets which will inherit this value model. In the field Depreciation Profile, I assign my depreciation profile. I can use alternative and extraordinary depreciation profile as well. Round of depreciation, I selected 1, and I'm going to leave net book value at 5,000. So here's the additional options. Allow net book value higher than acquisition cost. So we have possibility to allow net book value higher than acquisition cost. In some cases, it is necessary. You can allow negative net book value as well. On the tab Derive Value Model, I selected Value Model as derived. Now I'm going to use one value model card, and system for me will update transaction for the value model card tag as well. On the tab Derive Depreciation Book, I can assign the book for mirror purposes. So I have value model. Now exercise 2.6, set up fixed asset group. Under the same tab fixed assets, open the form fixed assets groups. I created groups, the group cars. So I need necessary to create simple to create a new record, unique code, description. I selected auto number for fixed asset in case I'm going to use automatic number attaching function based on fixed asset group, and assign number sequences for number attaching. Under button value model, I assigned two value models for this particular fixed asset group. In the field service life, I defined service life 5. So 5, it means 5 years, and system for me calculated depreciation period. As you remember, in value model we have period frequency yearly. So that's why system calculated 5 depreciation periods, means 5 periods, 5 years. Okay, now close. Now exercise 2.7, set up posting profile. Under the same folder fixed assets, open the form posting profile. I created the posting profile card. So I need to fill unique code in the posting profile, description. On the tab ledger account, in the left side of the form, you see select field group, and you see in this group fixed asset transaction types: acquisition adjustment. Now I selected acquisition adjustment, depreciation adjustment, evaluation, write-up adjustment, and other. And under button disposal, you see two additional transaction types, sale and scrap. So for every transaction type, it is necessary to define a ledger account for every transaction type and for every value model. So how I do this? I select acquisition, then I create a new record and select value model. For example, this one. Then grouping options, I can define for table for one particular fixed asset, for fixed asset group, or for all fixed assets. Then a ledger account for debit amount and offset account for credit amount. So I go type by type and define for every value model ledger account. Now let me show the parameters. In the general ledger module, under folder setup, I open the form parameters. On the tab fixed assets, you see parameters which relevant to fixed asset module. Minimum depreciation, posting profile, posting and default value models are mandatory fields. So if I go, I'm going to post acquisition adjustment to fixed assets. So I select option allow multiple acquisitions. I use auto number fixed assets. That's why I selected option auto number fixed assets. If I want to use barcode numbers the same as fixed asset numbers, I need to select option barcode equals fixed asset number. So, and here you see deduct cash discount and account for revenue resignation of untransferred reserves. So this is for specific country functionality. I go back to my presentation file. see the slide country-specific features. So it's called advanced features. Larger and more complex companies may require setup of extended functionality and country-specific features. The most important of it is provision types. These are used in many countries, including Spain and Turkey. So, provision types are set up in general ledger setup, set provision types. There are two ways to handle profit and asset stalls, referred to here as the basic option and the advanced option. The difference is summarized as follows. The basic option posts the sales price and the net book value of the disposed assets to the same profit and loss account. This option does not use provision types. The advanced option provides functionality whereby the profit on the sale is posted temporarily, so balance sheet account. Depending on the timing of the asset replacement, a company may or may not reclassify the profit to the income statement. And the additional feature is bonus depreciation. So bonus depreciation is the ability to take extra bonus depreciation amount to the first year the asset is placed in service. And bonus depreciation are used in the depreciation books for depreciation amount calculation. Mass update depreciation conventions for depreciation book. The new mass update feature enables a company to change the depreciation convention from assets associated with a depreciation book at the mass update level. For example, for federal tax purposes in the United States, if more than 40% of the new assets are placed in service in the fourth quarter of the current year, the assets must be depreciated using the mid-quarter convention. This feature provides an easy way for the user to update the convention. And to process a mass update in the fixed asset mass update form, select the depreciation book that is to be mass update, enter the place in service start and end period. Select the current depreciation convention that is to be changed and select the new depreciation convention. The mass update functionality gives a quick and easy way to update multiple depreciation conventions in a depreciation book. Chapter 3, Setup of Assets. We have those objectives, review the fields and functionality available in the fixed asset table. Distinguish between financial and non-financial information for assets. Set up a fixed asset. Demonstrate the use of inquiries in the fixed asset table. Review asset landing. Review assigning barcodes to assets. Review the features of asset budgeting. Here's the fixed asset form. The fixed asset form in Microsoft Dynamics form is the interface to the fixed asset table. The fixed asset form provides a location where a company can record information about and manage fixed assets. The fixed asset table holds both financial and non-financial information about assets. Non-financial information relates to the physical assets. Most non-financial information is recorded when setting up the assets. Examples of non-financial information include the following: asset name, serial number, maintenance date, insurance information, barcode, location. Multiple versions of financial information may be recorded about each asset by using value models assigned to the form. And in addition, financial information is recorded whenever transactions are processed. in picture you can see that fixed asset form is divided into two forms. One form is the main form, and you can see tabs Overview, General, Technical Information, Structured Text, Statistics, Sorting, and other. So in the Overview tab, I assign fixed asset group, and system for me generates fixed asset number if I use automatic number typing functionality. I define fixed asset name, search name. On the tab General, I define general information. I can change fixed asset type, tangible or intangible. On the tab Technical Information, I define model or other technical information related to the particular fixed asset. On the tab Structure, I can define parent and child relationship between fixed assets. On tab Text Statistics, I can define statistic information. On tab Sorting, I can define sorting values for reporting purposes. On tab Other, I can define insurance information, responsible persons information, warehouse, and other location information. And this information is non-financial. Under bottom value models, you can find value models which fixed assets inherit from fixed asset group. And under bottom value models, the financial information is located. Now let me show the exercise 3.1. In exercise 3.1, I'm going to set up a fixed asset. So open General Ledger module, open the form fixed assets. Here you see the list of fixed assets. I created a fixed asset. So you need simple to create a new record and assign a fixed asset group. I assign a fixed asset group. System for me updated fixed asset number. I define the name, search name. So let me show tab General. This is general information. You can see tangible, intangible, or financial, or other fixed asset type, and the type is used for reporting purposes. On the tab Technical Information, you can define technical information which is related with a particular fixed asset. So you can see structure. We can define parent and child relationship. Now this fixed asset I define like parent. On the tab Tax Statistic, you can define tax statistic information. Here you see sorting. In the tab Other, you can define insurance information, location, responsible, and other. Click button Value Models, and you see value models, which fixed assets inherited from the fixed assets group. You can change service life, depreciation period. On the tab Depreciation, you can remove depreciation option. In the field Depreciation Run Date, I define the first date for depreciation. System for me generates the last depreciation date. I can define expected scrap value. As additional on this form, you can review transactions. But let me show another fixed asset. This value model. So I select value model, and I can review transactions. Here you see voucher number, transaction date, fixed asset number, transaction type, acquisition, depreciation. Here you see amount. I can review voucher. Click button Inquire, and you can review balances. On the balances, you can review acquisition amount, depreciation, price of adjustment, and you can review those amounts for this year, for prior year, for all years. Click button Inquire and select Profile. In this form, you can review all your depreciation amounts in future. And system shows all depreciation amounts after last depreciation date. So depreciation amount split by depreciation period. You can split fixed assets. You can create forecasting for fixed assets. You can review inventory transaction if some of inventory were moved to this particular fixed asset. Now let me show another button. I come back to fixed asset form. Here is the button function. So I can copy fixed asset. I can change fixed asset group. I can record my landed information if I lend to my employees or to other companies. So here in this form you can see landed date, expected return date, actual returning date, loaned to. You can assign the employee code, and you can review this information on your report. Depreciation books. In this form, you can review all the depreciation books which fixed asset inherited from fixed asset group, and you can assign additional depreciation books. You can review depreciation books transactions, bonus depreciation, Inquire, balance, profile as well. So these transactions are not updated in general ledger. They are only for comparing purposes. So here you see depreciation amounts in future. Now I go back to my presentation file. So notice that when you want to post your fixed asset acquisition, first of all, you need to create fixed asset records in fixed asset form. So first of all, you create a fixed asset record, a new fixed asset, and after that you can post acquisition. And you can post acquisition via purchase order or general ledger or fixed asset journal as well. So budget. You can create and post your fixed asset budget, for example, depreciation budget. And via posting process, you have the possibility to transfer a particular fixed asset budget to a ledger budget. And after that, you can involve your fixed asset budget after transferring to ledger budget. You can involve this budget in the cash flow management functionality. So now talk about asset transactions, chapter 4. We have those objectives, use asset transaction types, use journals to manually enter fixed asset transactions, use proposals to enter fixed asset transactions. This chapter introduces you with different fixed asset transaction types and different methods for recording those transactions in Microsoft Dynamics CX form. Fixed assets follow these transaction types: acquisitions, depreciation, value adjustments, and disposals. You see in the middle of the picture those transaction types. For each of these types, Microsoft Dynamics CX form offers the daily transaction types. For acquisition, and acquisition adjustment. For depreciation, depreciation adjustment, and extraordinary depreciation. For value adjustment, write up, write down, and revaluation transaction types. For disposal sale, disposal scrap, provision for reserve, transfer from a reserve. So fixed asset model provides with huge transaction types. Recording asset transaction acquisition. Microsoft Dynamics CX manages acquisitions with the following transaction types: acquisition and acquisition adjustment. And depending on the setup in the general ledger parameters, I talk about option allow for multiple acquisitions. So depending on the setup, one or an unlimited number of acquisition transactions can be enabled for each asset per value model. It is usual to allow for multiple acquisition per asset when a user expects to pose multiple transactions that affect the acquisition value for an asset. For example, when a company purchases a car and plans to rebuild the engine. So it's allowable to record asset acquisition in those system plates in general ledger journals, general journal, fixed asset journal, inventory to fixed asset journal, accounts payable purchase orders, and accounts payable journals, invoices, invoice journals. So now let me show in my Dynamics AX form Now I'm going to show exercise 4.1, 4.2, 4.1 and 4.2. So first of all, let me show the general journal. In the general ledger module, open general journal. So simply create a new journal, click button line. In the field date, fill transaction date, account type fixed assets. System for you shows fixed assets list. And remember that first of all you need to create a new fixed asset. Transaction text, amount in debit side. So look, system based on value model on the tab fixed asset. Let me show value model. Based on value model, system updates the ledger account as offset account and will generate acquisition ledger account based on posting profile as well. You see transaction type. So if I go to record acquisition transaction, I select transaction type acquisition. If I'm going to increase my acquisition price, I select acquisition adjustment. So. And if I'm going to record another transaction, so similar, I select another transaction type. You see all of transaction types in the general ledger, in the general journal, on the tab fixed assets. So simply create record on the tab fixed assets. Select transaction type. By default, the transaction type acquisition is displayed. Then amount, and you can close your journal. Now let me show fixed assets journal. And here I have my exercise. So simply create a new journal, fixed asset journal. Then click button line, fill transaction date, transaction type, acquisition, fixed asset number, value model, transaction text, amount in debit side. System for you will update offset account based on posting profiles and value model. And after that you can post your fixed asset journal. So let me show. Transaction type. You can see that you have the possibility to select transaction type, which is necessary for fixed asset transaction recording. You see all transaction types. So in fixed asset journal, you can record all fixed asset transactions. And as offset account, you can select vendor, or customer, or ledger, or project, what is necessary for you. If you want to record your item moving to inventory to fixed asset acquisition, I mean, for example, if you build your fixed asset from item, or if you want to create like complex from item to fixed asset, you can use inventory to fixed asset journal. So simply create a new journal. Click bottom line, fill transaction date, select fixed asset number in which you want to move item, then value model, transaction type, usually acquisition and acquisition adjustment transaction types are used in this journal. Then item number, for example this one. Then item, after that select item dimension and storage dimension from which you want to move your item. Then quantity. System for you will update average cost or standard cost. It depends on item settings. And system will calculate cost amount. So you can, in one journal, you can select for one fixed asset number as much item as if it is necessary. Let me show the exercise 4.2. I close this journal. I have already posted. So here you see the exercise for single fixed asset number. I selected two different items: transaction type acquisition. System for me updated cost price, one item cost price and cost amount. And after that, let me show in my the transaction. Now I have transaction type acquisition and amount. The next step for acquisition is purchase order. Let me show this step. Open accounts payable model, the form purchase order. Let me show the purchase order. So I simply create a purchase order, select vendor. In the bottom of form, I select my item. So If you want to record your fixed asset acquisition via purchase order, it is necessary to set up items with specific item group and specific item and storage dimensions. Then in the line I select quantity. Now I'm going to acquire one fixed asset and select unit price. On the tab Other, I select fixed asset number, value model, and transaction type. In purchase order, I have two transaction types, acquisition and acquisition adjustment. After my purchase order invoice, updating this invoice, system will generate for item receipt and issue transactions, two transactions, and for fixed asset, system will generate one acquisition transaction. So for lines, I will see two transactions, receipt and issue, and for fixed asset, I will see one transaction, one acquisition transaction. And next step is invoice journal. Let me show invoice journal. I can record my fixed asset acquisitions in the invoice journal as well. So simply create invoice journal, then click button line, select transaction date, account type fixed asset, the fixed asset number, invoice number, amount in debit side, system updates offset account type ledger account, and process account ledger account based on value model. On the tab fixed asset in the field transaction type, you see all fixed asset transaction types. So you can record you can record all your transaction types in invoice journal as well. Usually acquisition and acquisition adjustment types are used in invoice journal. You can select as offset account vendor and vendor as offset account. In this way, you can record your fixed asset directly with vendor account. I go back to my presentation file. Recording asset transaction depreciation. Fixed asset depreciation adjustments and extraordinary depreciation can be recorded in general ledger journal, fixed asset journal, depreciation books, and accounts payable journals, invoices, invoice journals. But usually for depreciation transactions, the fixed asset journal and depreciation books are used in case we have the function depreciation proposal. So now let me show the depreciation proposal function in fixed asset journal. I open my Dynamics AX4. I open General Ledger module and folder Journal. Open the form fixed asset. And now let me show the exercise for 3. Now I'm going to create a depreciation proposal. I simply create fixed asset journal. Click button Client. Click button Proposal. Here see lots of proposals for acquisition, for depreciation, consumption, devaluation, revenue, resignation of reserves, as extraordinary depreciation proposal. So you can use whatever is necessary. Now let me show the depreciation proposal function. I select value in field to date. Now I'm going to depreciate my fixed asset group. Here you see selected. I have selected fixed asset group. I'm going to depreciate until date 31st of July of 2007. And I'm not going to use option summarize depreciation. Let me show. Okay. System will generate for me my depreciation amount, put it in depreciation period. See, system creates a lot of lines. Now I delete journal lines. I can use function with active option summarize depreciation. So system will summarize for me until required date all my depreciation amount. They split it by fixed asset table and value model. So let me show. Okay. Now instead a lot of lines, I see 3 lines. So I can create depreciation proposal, split it in depreciation period, or summarize until from the last depreciation date, from the last posted depreciation date, until required depreciation date. Sometimes it's useful and there is a possibility to summarize depreciation amount. So you see that the system by default uses transaction type depreciation. You can enter manual your depreciation. You just simply create a new record and select the transaction type depreciation. Depreciation proposal function is available in the depreciation books journal as well. I open depreciation books journal. I create depreciation books and click button line. So you see proposal. And I can use acquisition proposals, bonus depreciation proposals, and other proposals for line creation in my depreciation book. And after that, I can load my depreciation book journal. Notice that system will not update any transaction in general ledger. You can only review those transactions in fixed asset report or on fixed asset inquiries. You can, after posting, you can compare. I close this window. I go back to my presentation file. Recording asset transactions value adjustments. Value adjustments consist of the following transaction types: write-up adjustment, write-down adjustment, and revaluation. Value adjustments can be recorded in general ledger journals, general journal, fixed asset journal, depreciation books, and in accounts payable journals, invoice journals as well. Usually, value adjustment transactions are used in fixed asset journal and depreciation books. So let me show in my Dynamics AX form. In the general ledger, under folder journal, open the form fixed assets. So I simply create a new journal and click button line. So here is the transaction type: write-up adjustment, the valuation, write-up adjustment, write-down adjustment. So under button proposals, you can create automatically only the revaluation proposals. Write-up adjustment and write-down adjustment you can create only manually. Manually means create a new record, select transaction type write-up adjustment or write-down adjustment. Then select fixed asset number for write-up adjustment or write-down, value module, transaction type, amount. System based on posting profile on value model and transaction type. System update offset account, offset ledger account. So in this way, you create the transaction for write-up adjustment and write-down adjustment manually, and you can use proposal for revaluation proposal for revaluation transaction. Let me show depreciation, the form depreciation books. I create the journal in the depreciation books form, write down adjustment, click button line, then I fill transaction date, again transaction type write-up adjustment or write-down adjustment. I select fixed asset number, this one. Here is the depreciation book. So I can select this one, transaction text, I fill transaction text, then I fill amount, sample this one, and I can post write-down adjustment transaction of fixed asset number, and this transaction will not be updated in general ledger. I can use a revaluation proposal as well. Now I go back to my presentation file. Recording asset transaction disclosures. Asset disposal consists of the following transaction types: disposal sale, disposal scrap, provision for reserve, transfer from reserve, asset transactions over time, disposal sale, and scrap can be posted in general ledger journals, general journal, fixed asset journal, depreciation books, and in accounts receivable free text invoice. So basically, transaction type, disposal, scrap, provision for reserve, transfer from reserve are used in fixed asset channel and depreciation book channel. And disposal sale basically is used in the pre-tax invoice in case the invoice document is necessary for customer. So let me show in my Dynamics AX form disposal transactions. In General Ledger module, open under folder journal, open the form fixed assets. So I already have my journal. Click bottom line. So in field date, enter transaction date, transaction type, disposal sale or disposal scrap. In account fill the fixed asset number, value model. Based on transaction type, value model, system updates, composting profiles, offset account. You can change. You can select customer and system. If you select customer, system for you shows customer list, and you can select customer list. You can simply post your disposal scrap transaction. System will generate disposal scrap based on expected value and will calculate based on expected value. So now let me show disposal sale transaction in the pre-tax invoice form. I open my accounts receivable module. I open the form pre-tax invoice. You see this form. So I simply create a new record. I have already this record. Customer. On the tab invoice line, I define description. I leave field ledger account blank. I can define sales tax, item sales tax. This is amount for revenue. I define fixed asset number, which I'm going to sell, and value model. So keep look on field ledger account. If this field is blank, system will update the ledger account for revenue from posting profiles related to the value model. If I select another ledger account, system will update for revenue another different ledger account than I define in posting profile. So I have in the pre-tax invoice, I have a possibility to change ledger account for revenue, for sales transaction, for revenue, and to generate invoice document for customers. So basically, pre-tax invoice form is used for sales transaction from the 2 points. 1 point, it is not necessary to establish relation with inventory management model. It's not necessary to assign items. On the other hand, user has the possibility to assign a fixed asset number and to change ledger account from fixed asset revenue transaction. Now I go back to my presentation file. Chapter 5, Inquiries and Reports. So we have those objectives: review data inquiries available in the fixed assets, review reports available in the fixed assets. And we have some inquiries balance and profile. Balance, we can review what has happened, and profile what will happen. Let me show in my Dynamics AX form. Open the general ledger module. So there are lots of reports related to fixed asset management purposes. Let me show in the general ledger module under folder reports. Open the folder-based data. You can find some reports related with fixed assets. So fixed asset statement rows, fixed asset basis. You can find fixed asset acquisitions, disclosures, mid-quarter, applicable. Under folder various, you can find fixed asset barcodes. Under folder transaction, you can review, and under folder periodic, you can review your fixed asset balances, fixed asset depreciation books, comparing information. We have groups fixed asset reports in one folder. Fixed assets, so you can review fixed asset transaction, movements, reserve transactions. As additional, there are some inquiries under folder inquiries, under folder fixed asset transaction inquiries, fixed asset budget inquiries, depreciation book transactions. You can review depreciation book transactions. And you can review information let me show fixed asset form. You can review information based on particular fixed asset. So select fixed asset, select value model. You can review transactions, voucher, origin, audit trail, original document, inquiries, balances, profile. You can use functions split fixed assets, forecasting. You can review forecasting or create a new entry. You can review inventory transaction, inventory issue transactions, inventory which were moved to fixed assets, acquisition. So there are huge of inquiries and reports in system in which you can find a lot of information about fixed asset management. I go back to my presentation file. So summary. On this day, we covered Chapter 1, Introduction to Fixed Assets, set up procedures, set up assets, transaction, inquiries, and reports. I expect you to do exercise based on covered chapters, and expect you to read your manuals. Next time, we will cover questions, answers, and case studies. You receive case exercise and case solutions to your emails. So I expect you to review case exercise and to try to do those exercises in your Dynamics form. Next time I'm going to show exercise solutions on my Dynamics form. So things you need to know. You need to do your exercise to study by yourself. I wait your questions before Friday 12 p.m. Notice that the time is GMT. You see my email. Now let me say thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy your manuals and exercise. See you next time and have a nice time. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Adrone. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.